Hello everyone, myself Rajbir and I would like to welcome you all on behalf of Shiv Jyoti Educational Group. Students, today we will do the revision for English grammar for class 3. The revision will be for chapter number 1, that is your common noun and proper noun. Chapter number 2, singular and plural. Chapter number 3, male and female, and chapter number 5, that is your verbs. Okay, as we have already read these chapters, we will do the revision. I'll just explain you that what is there in these chapters. So let's start with chapter number 1, that is common noun and proper noun. Okay, before starting the chapter, let's just revise what are nouns. As we all know, what are nouns? Nouns is a name of a person, place, thing or animal. Person, place, thing and animal. Okay, so these are called as nouns. We all know this, right? But what are common noun and proper noun? It is open page number 1, chapter number 1. You can see it's there in your book. Okay, now I'll read the definition for you all. First of all, nouns are the words that name people, animal, places and things. They are also called naming words. We also call them naming words. Okay, now let's see what are common nouns. Common names of people, places, animals or things of the same kind are called common noun. Common names of people, common names in the sense, suppose I am talking about a girl. I am talking about a girl. Okay, now this is a common noun. The girl is common for me, but when I specify the name of the girl is suppose Rita. Okay, now as I specified the name Rita, it becomes proper noun. When it was only girl, it was common noun. When I specified it, it becomes proper noun. Okay, similarly, let's see the another example. Suppose I am talking about school. School is a common noun. Okay, why it is a common noun? Because we don't know about which school we are talking about. हमें नहीं पता हम किस स्कूल के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. We don't know about which school we are talking about. But when I am saying I am talking about Shiv Jyoti Convent School. So when I specified the name of the school, it becomes proper noun. Okay. So this is the basic difference between common noun and proper noun. Let's see what's there in your book. Exercise A, you can see. In exercise A, what you have to do, you have to underline the common nouns in the following sentences. You have 6 sentences. We'll start with the first one. Amira rides her bicycle in the park. So, Amira rides her bicycle in the park. Now, in this sentence, there are 2 common nouns. First one is the bicycle. The first one is bicycle and another one is park. Okay. As we don't know about which bicycle we are talking about, हमें नहीं पता हम किस bicycle के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, right? Secondly, we don't know about which park we are talking about. So, if we don't know anything specific about them, it becomes common noun. Okay. Now let's see the another example. Now, your second sentence is Ranjit forgot his coat in the car. Now, in this sentence, again, 2 words are there which are common noun. The very first word is coat, C-O-A-T, coat. Another one is car, C-A-R, car. So, these 2 words are common noun. You have to underline them. You have to underline them. Okay. We don't know about which coat he is talking about. We don't know about which car he is talking about. As nothing is specified about it, so it becomes common noun. Okay, now let's see exercise number C. But before starting exercise number C, it's there on your page number 2. Let's read the definition of proper noun. Proper nouns are the special names of people, places, animals or things. It always starts with capital letter. It is very simple. I'll just tell you what it is. Proper noun. It is a name of some special places, special person, and it always begins with capital letter. So, if I am talking about a special place, suppose I am talking about a city in which I live. Suppose name of the city City is a common noun. I live in a city. My sentence is I live in a city. Okay, city is a common noun, but when I specify in which city I live in Kota city. So I have specified the name. Now it becomes a special noun. Now it becomes a proper noun, as it is a particular name of a place. I have specified the name of a place, right? So it becomes a proper noun. Okay, now suppose if I am talking about a boy. About which boy I am talking? The name of the boy, if I specify the name of the boy, Rahul. So it becomes proper noun. Rahul, it becomes proper noun. So these are few of the examples which easily, with the help of them, we can easily describe, we can easily identify which are the common nouns and which are the proper nouns. And it always starts with capital letter. Wherever it is, whether it is in the starting of the sentence, whether it is at the beginning of the, at the middle of the sentence or at the end of the sentence. Wherever it is, it will always start with the capital letter. Suppose my sentence was, I live in Kota city. So Kota is getting in between the sentence, but then too it is starting with capital letter because it is a proper noun. Okay. Now let's see exercise number C. What's there in the exercise number C? In exercise number C, you have to circle the proper nouns in the following sentences. You have to circle the proper nouns. Now, my very first sentence is, Asif lives in Kolkata near Howrah Bridge. Now, you can see there are three proper nouns. How I can say there are three proper nouns? Because there is a name of a person, there is a name of a place, like name of a person is Asif, Kolkata and Howrah Bridge. So, these are the three proper nouns there in the sentence. You can underline them or you can circle them. So, in the first one, Asif Kolkata and Howrah Bridge. Now to fulfill the demand, like if we want to call them a proper noun means if we want to call them proper noun, it should start with capital letter. You can see that Kolkata and Howrah Bridge, Kolkata is in between the sentence and Howrah Bridge is at the end of the sentence. Like they both are like in between and at the end of the sentence, but then too they are starting with the capital letter. They are starting with the capital letter. You can see K is capital, Howrah Bridges, H and B are capital. So they are known as proper noun. You can circle them. Similarly, we can see the second sentence. My birthday was on the last Saturday in March. Last Saturday. We have mentioned on which Saturday? Last Saturday. So the word Saturday and the name of a month, that is March. These two words are proper noun. Okay, if I have mentioned here the name of a month, that is, it is starting with the capital letter. You can see name of a day, it is starting with the capital letter. Therefore, they are fulfilling the demand to form as proper nouns. So they are they will be considered as proper noun in the sentence. Okay, now let's see exercise number D. In exercise number D, some proper nouns in the following sentences are not written correctly. They are written in a wrong way. So what we have to do, we have to identify them and we have to write them correctly. I'll show you how you have to do it. You can see in the very first sentence it is written, I think Serena Williams is the world's best tennis player. You can see there is a name of a person, that is Serena Williams. It is written like this, Serena Williams. Is it written like this only? Right? So it is wrong. It is written wrong. Why? Because the first alphabet should be capital, because it is a name of a player, name of a person, right? So the correct form will be like this. So you have to rewrite it like this, Serena Williams. The alphabet will be, the first initial alphabet will be capital. Okay, so this is the correct way to write the name of a person because it is a proper noun. Okay, now let's see exercise E. In exercise E, you just have to match the word with its common noun. You have to match the proper noun with the common noun. You can see in example it is written Paris. Suppose the name of a place is Paris. What Paris is? Paris is the name of a city. So we have matched it with name of a city. Okay, Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is the name of a cartoon character. Okay, so we have matched it with the name of a, we have matched it with the common noun, cartoon character. So like this you have to do rest of the words. Now let's see exercise number F. In exercise number F, what you have to do, you have to fill the blanks with the proper noun. You have to just read the sentence carefully, then you have to fill the blank. Okay, I'll just read it for you. It is cold in Australia in the month of dash. Now you have to write the name of the month. So if I am writing the name of the month, it will start with the capital letter, whether it is at the end of the sentence. It is at the end of the sentence, but then too you have to start it with the capital letter because it is a proper noun. So you have to identify that whether it is a proper noun or it is a common noun. Okay. So according to it, you have to write it. Now you can see the last sentence, two dash were injured in the fire this morning. Now you can see two is written, two is there, the word two is written, so it means we are talking about plural. So two dash were injured in fire this morning. So the word related to fire is firemen. So the word related to fire is firemen. So we can write it in small letter because it is not a proper noun, it is a common noun. So you have to differentiate between common noun and proper noun like this. Proper noun always starts with capital letter, common noun can start with small letter. Okay, so this was your chapter number 1. Now let's start with chapter number 2, that is your singular and plural. Lesson number 2, singular and plural. So in the singular thing means whenever we are talking about a single thing, if I am talking about this book, it is a singular. If I am having this book also, it will become plural. So like this, singular means single thing, plural means more than one, whether it can be 2, 3, 4, it can be any much, right? So my very first thing is that how we can convert a singular word into plural. Singular को plural में कैसे convert करना है? It is very simple. Like my singular word is boy. Okay, now I have to convert it into plural. How I am going to convert it into plural? I am going to simply add s to it and the word will be boys. Okay. Boys means it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4, it can be many. Okay. So like this, the very simple way is by simply adding s to it, it will be converted into plural. But it will not go same with every word. Okay. There is a different rules. Let's see the very first rule. I'll just explain you the very first rule for it. Suppose your word is ending with O. At the last there is O. Then S, double S, SH and CH. And one more thing, X is there. If your word is ending at these alphabets, then what you have to do, you have to add ES to them to convert them into plural. If you want to convert them into plural, you need to add ES to them. Suppose my word is bus, B-U-S, bus. Okay, now if I have to convert it into plural form, what I need to add? I need to add ES to it. Okay, the word will be buses. Okay, you sit in class, there are benches in your class. So the spelling for bench is B-E-N-C-H. At the last you can see CH is there, right? So to convert it into plural, I need to add ES and the word will be benches. Okay. My word is hero. At the last you can see O is there. If I have to convert it into plural form, what I need to add here? I need to add ES and the word will be heroes. So it is very simple. So you just have to check that whether your word is ending with O, S, SS, SH, CH or X. If it is ending with any of it, then you need to add ES and it will be converted into plural form. Okay. So this was the very first rule. Some examples I have already shown. Some examples from your book is like this. Wish, W-I-S-H, wish. At the last you can see SH is there. So if I have to convert it into plural form, I need to add ES and it will become wishes. Okay. Now it will become wishes. Next is bush. You can see B-U-S-H, bush. Now if I have last is SH. Now if I have to convert it into plural, the word will be bushes. So these are few of the examples from your book. You can see it's there on page number 4. It is there on page number 4 in a green column. And let's see exercise number B. You can see the word fox is given. It is ending with alphabet X. Right? If it is ending with alphabet X, what we need to add? We need to add ES to it and it will become foxes. It will become foxes. Okay. So these are few of the words which are there in your book. Now the next rule is, suppose my word is ending with alphabet Y. Okay, and just before Y, if there is a vowel, it can be a vowel or it can be a consonant. We all know what are vowels and what are consonants. So if there is a vowel, what we need to do? If there is a vowel, we just simply need to add S to it. Okay, and if there is a consonant just before Y से just पहले अगर consonant है आपका, then what you have to do? You just have to replace Y with I and you need to add ES to it. Okay, so total you need to add IES. Suppose my word is boy. So just before Y there is O. O is a vowel. Now if vowel is there, what I have told you, what you have to do, you just simply need to add S to it and it will become boys. It is very simple. Now if my word is baby, B-A-B-Y, baby. Okay, now you can see just before Y there is a consonant. In case of consonant, what we have to do, we have to replace Y with I. So my word will be B-A-B-I and I need to add ES, babies. So the correct plural form will be babies. Okay, now you can see some of the examples in your book. In exercise D, you can see there are many dash in the world. Now the word given in the bracket is country, C-O-U-N-T-R-Y. You can see just before Y there is R. R is a consonant. So if consonant is there, what I have to do? I have to replace Y with I, that I did, and I will add ES to it. The word will be countries. Okay. Similarly, you have to see rest of the sentences. Now the another rule. Now there is another rule for some words. Some of the words are ending with F or FE. Okay. Suppose my word is leaf, L-E-A-F, leaf. We all know what is leaf. This is a leaf. Okay. Now, if at the end F or FE is there, what we have to do? We have to replace F with VES. Okay. So, my word will be leaves, L-E-A-V-E-S. It can be like this. Many leaves. It can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4, it can be many. So this is the set example for the word ending with F or FE. Now for FE, suppose my word is knife. We all know what is knife. With the help of knife we cut vegetables, fruits, right? So if my word is knife, you can see at the last FE is there. Okay, now what I have to do? I have to replace FE with VES. Okay, my word will be knives. It can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4, it can be many. Okay, this is the plural form of word knife. I hope you have understood till here. Now there is one more thing. I'll tell you what. You can see on page number 7 it is given that we form plurals of some nouns by changing one or more vowels in them. I'll show you how. Suppose my word is man, M-A-N, man. Okay, now in this word you can see whenever we are talking about a single person, we use word men. Okay, but whenever we are talking about more than one, we use the word men. Okay, why is it so? We just have to replace this vowel with this one and it will be easily converted into plural. Okay, so like this you have to just change some of the vowels. If I am talking about single tooth, so you can see double O is there. Now if I have to convert it into plural, what I need to add? I have to replace double O with double teeth. When I am talking about whole, I need to add double E and the word will be teeth. Okay, it is not teeths, it is teeth. Okay, so like this we have to change the vowels. You can see it is there in your book, exercise F. All the men wore black hats and in the bracket the word man is given. So to convert it into plural form, we have just replaced A with E. Okay, now in the second one you can see, be sure to brush your teeth after eating anything sweet. In the bracket, the word tooth is given, that is for single, and for the whole, the word is teeth. You can see it's there in your book. So this was it for chapter number 2. I hope you have understood it. Now students, let's start with chapter number 3, that is your male and female. Male and female, it means we are talking about gender. Male, female. We are talking about a single word we can call gender. Okay. What is your father? Your father is male. Okay. And what is your mother? Your mother is female. Your mother is female. So the very simple example I have just given you, that your father is male and your mother is female. With the help of this example, you can easily identify that whom we can call male and whom we can call female. Now you can see there is a definition in your book. Open page number 9. You can see it's there. There is a define in the green column at the top of the page. Some nouns are specifically males and females. In grammar, the word gender is used to describe this feature of noun. The word gender is used to describe this feature of noun. Now, masculine gender refers to males. This is a masculine gender. This is a masculine gender which explains the male factor. Now, this is the feminine gender which explains the female factor. Okay. So these are the two type of genders I have just explained. Now there are two more genders I'll just tell you. Just let's see the exercise for masculine and feminine. Okay, now for the masculine, let's see. I can set few examples. Masculine and feminine. Okay, now masculine will be a boy, feminine will be a. Similarly, brother, B-R-O-T-H-E-R, brother. Brother is your masculine gender and the opposite gender, that is sister, it is your feminine gender. So like this you can see. It's there in your book, exercise A, you can see brother, the opposite gender is brother, sister, father, mother, man, woman, uncle, aunt. So, uncle, aunt. So, with the help of this, you can easily understand the difference, you can easily understand the difference between masculine and feminine. Okay, now let's see. Exercise B. In exercise B, what you have to do, you just have to replace the feminine to masculine. Okay, the very first example is my mother is my cousin's aunt. So there are two feminine genders, two feminine words, that is mother, another one is aunt, A-U-N-T. What you have to do, you have to replace them with the masculine gender. So the masculine gender for mother will be father and for aunt will be uncle. So after replacing them, what will be the sentence? My father is my cousin's uncle. Similarly, you can see in the second sentence, the tigress looked fierce. Now the word tigress is a feminine gender. The word tigress is a feminine gender. Now you have to convert it into masculine gender. So the word will be tiger. Okay. Now after replacing it, the sentence will be the tiger looked fierce. Okay. Now let's see what are the rest of the genders. Now there are two more genders. I'll tell you what are they. Two more genders are, that is a common gender and neuter gender. I'll tell you what they are. Common gender are basically that those words in which male and female come together. I'll tell you how. Male plus female, they both come together. Suppose my word is parents. My word is parents. In this word you can see father is there and mother is there. When you shout in class, teacher used to say, no, I'll call your parents. I'll call your parents matlab she can call your father and mother together, right? So the word parents is a common gender. My word is friends. Friend. A friend can be a boy, a friend can be a girl, right? So you can see this is masculine, this is feminine. So if both of them are coming together and they are coming under one word, that is friend, it is your common gender. So I hope you have understood this topic. Now let's see what is neuter gender. Now the neuter gender is the word used for non-living things. Non-living things. Suppose this bottle. This is a bottle, this is a non-living thing. If I'll throw it, it will not cry. Okay. Now if it will not cry, it is a non-living thing. So my very first example is bottle. This marker, this is also non-living thing and they do not carry any gender. So they are also neuter gender. This book is also neuter gender, right? So all the things which are non-living, they will be considered as neuter gender. They will be considered under the category of neuter gender. So I hope you have understood the difference between common gender and neuter gender. So basically there are four type of genders. Masculine gender, that is used for denoting man, that is like your father, brother, uncle, right? Second is your feminine gender, that is used to denote like females, that is your mother, sister, okay. Third is common gender, which is used for both, that is like your parents. Now the next fourth one is the neuter gender, that will be carrying all the non-living things. They don't have any gender like bottle, book. A noun that refer to both male and female is said to be a common gender. For both male and female is said to be a common gender. For the neuter gender, a noun that refers to a non-living thing is said to be a neuter gender. For non-living things, it is said to be a neuter gender. Okay. So I hope you have understood this chapter. Now let's start with the another chapter, that is your chapter number 5, verbs. Let's start it. Open page number 16. Now what are verbs? Before starting, let's just read the define of the verbs. Verbs are the words that show action. It is very simple. When we do something, shows action. Shows action. Suppose I am teaching you right now. So I am teaching you. So this teaching is action. It is showing some action. I am writing. I am speaking. So these all are like showing some action. Showing some action. So these all are my verbs. These all are my verbs. So whenever we do something, it is considered as the verb. I am speaking right now in front of you like I am doing something. So that is, speaking is the part of my verb. Okay. So let's see exercise A. It's there in your book, page number 16. Underline the nouns and circle the verbs in the following sentences. Now in the sentence there are two things. There is a noun also, there is a verb also. What you have to do? You have to circle the verb and underline the noun. How you have to do? I'll show you. The very first sentence is, the farmer planted wheat in the field. The farmer planted wheat in the field. In the field. Now you can see in this sentence there are three nouns. The very first noun is farmer. Okay. The second noun is wheat, and the third noun is field. Okay, now we have to identify what is the verb here. Verb means when we have done something, should show some action, that is planted. So we are going to circle it out. Like this you have to do it in your book. Okay, so this was the first example. Let's see the another example. The dancer dances gracefully. The dancer dances gracefully. This is your second sentence. It is there in your book, you can see. Now in this sentence what you have to do, you have to identify the nouns. First of all, let's see what are the nouns in this sentence. There is a noun, dancer. Okay, now what dancer is doing? He or she is dancing. So the dances is the verb. So I hope you have understood the thing, that the dancer is the noun, the one who is doing the activity, the one who is doing the act, and whatever he is doing, it is the verb. It is the verb. He or she is dancing. Dances means it is your verb and this is your noun. So I hope you have understood it. Now let's see exercise B. There is a vice versa connection between noun and verb. I'll tell you how. Suppose my noun is, for example, you can see, my sister swims in the pool. My sister swims in the pool. Now in this sentence you can see my noun is singular. My sister, this is my noun. Now it is singular, as I can say my sister, Meri Behan, my sister, this is singular. Swims is an activity, this is my verb. Okay, now you can see it is carrying S with it. So when noun is singular, your verb will carry S. When your noun is plural, your verb will not carry S. So this is a rule which you need to check out. You can see in exercise C. Exercise C, the very first sentence is, my dog dash its tail when it sees me. Now the two options given are wags and wags. So I am talking about my dog. My dog is singular. My dog is singular. Noun is singular. So when noun is singular, my verb, this is my verb, it will carry S. So my word will be wags. Okay. So the correct sentence will be, my dog wags its tail when it sees me. Okay. So like this you can see the second sentence also. In the second sentence, hence You know the meaning of hence? Hence dash eggs. Now the given options are lays or lay. According to the thing, if my noun is plural, the verb will not carry s with it. The verb will not carry s with it. So the word will be lay. So the correct word will be lay, and my correct sentence will be hence lay eggs. Okay, now this was it. Now let's see exercise number D. In exercise number D, a help box is given. With the help of that help box, you have to fill the blanks. Now the first sentence is Deepak is a friendly boy. He dash at everyone. Deepak is a friendly boy. This is the name of a boy, but it is singular. But when it is singular, my verb will carry s. So my word will be smiles. My verb will be smiles. This will be the verb. So the sentence will be Deepak is a friendly boy. He smiles at everyone. So I hope you have understood this thing. Now let's see exercise number E. In exercise number E, you have to choose the correct verb for the brackets, from the brackets, and rewrite the sentences. You have to choose just the correct verb from the given brackets. The very first is ships dash across the sea but trains dash on rails. For the ship can fly or ship can sail. S-A-I-L, sail. Because ships is there, so the verb will be singular, that is sail. But the trains run on the rails. Gallop nahi aayega, the word will be run. Okay. So the correct option will be run, and the correct sentence will be ships sail across the sea but trains run on rails. Similarly, you have to see rest of the sentences. I hope you have understood all the 4 chapters clearly. Now go through them properly. Thank you and have a nice day.